I watch my son Leo arrange his cereal into a perfect circle, just like I do. That simple gesture used to fill me with pride. Now it shatters me. The DNA test results don't lie. He's not my flesh and blood. Michael, my best friend, secretly swapped his DNA for mine during our fertility treatments 10 years ago. He sabotaged multiple attempts, drugged my wife, and paid off doctors, all to plant his legacy in my home while I raised his biological child as my own. He stood beside me at Leo's birth, patted my back, and called himself Uncle Mike, while knowing the truth. I won't let rage consume me. Cold, methodical destruction is far more satisfying. I've already seized control of our company. Soon I'll methodically destroy his entire life piece by calculated piece. He stole my legacy. I'll erase his completely. I stand at the back of the elementary school gymnasium, watching Leo adjust his science fair project one last time. My son's small hands move with precision, every motion deliberate and careful, just like mine. At 10 years old, he already shows the methodical thinking that served me well in building my investment firm. His project on cellular regeneration is advanced for 5th grade, but Leo has always been exceptional. Anna touches my arm lightly. He gets that focus from you, she says with a smile that doesn't quite reach her eyes. There's warmth there, but also distance. Our marriage has weathered storms over the past decade, the early years of fertility treatments taking their toll. We survived, but something fragile remains between us. Ethan, you made it! Michael's voice booms from behind us. I turn to see my oldest friend and business partner making his way through the crowd, designer suit slightly out of place among the casual parent attire. Wouldn't miss it, I reply, accepting his firm handshake. Michael and I have been inseparable since college, building our financial firm together from nothing. He's been beside me through everything, particularly during those difficult years, when Anna and I struggled to conceive. Michael immediately gravitates toward Leo, ruffling his hair. How's my favorite genius? Leo beams up at him. I think I might win first place, Uncle Mike. Of course you will, Michael says, studying Leo's display. That intelligence runs in the family. He glances at me with an odd expression, something almost proprietary in his gaze. I've noticed these small moments more frequently lately. Subtle comments about heredity, watchful eyes when Leo demonstrates particular talents. I dismiss the thought as the judges begin making their rounds. Leo indeed takes first place. I photograph him holding his blue ribbon, pride swelling in my chest. As we're leaving, Leo's science teacher approaches with forms. Mr. Hayes, the district's advanced science program would love to have Leo next year. It's highly selective, but he's a perfect candidate. We just need these health forms completed, including the genetic screening for inherited conditions. I thank her and tuck the papers into my jacket. We'll take care of it. 2 weeks later, I'm reviewing quarterly projections in my home office when my phone rings. Dr. Lennox, the pediatrician who conducted Leo's screening. Mr. Hayes, we found some unusual results in Leo's genetic screening. Nothing concerning health-wise, but we'd recommend further testing to clarify some anomalies. Something in her tone sends a chill through me. What kind of anomalies? It would be better to discuss in person. Can you come in tomorrow? That night, I watch Leo sleep, his face peaceful. Whatever these anomalies are, we'll handle them. I brush his dark hair from his forehead, noticing again how it waves exactly like mine does. Dr. Lennox's office is clinically bright the next morning. She sits across from me, a folder open on her desk. Mr. Hayes, I've reviewed the comprehensive testing results. There's no easy way to say this, but the genetic markers indicate that Leo is not your biological child. The words hit like a physical blow. There must be a mistake. We've run the test twice, she says gently. The results are conclusive. My wife and I used fertility treatments, I explain. In vitro fertilization. There could have been a mix-up at the clinic. That's possible, she agrees. But there's something else. The system flagged a partial match with another DNA profile in our database. I stare at her. Meaning what? Meaning Leo is genetically related to someone else, whose DNA is in our system, not you. I drive home in a fog, my mind racing through possibilities. A mistake at the clinic? Anna's infidelity? Both seem implausible. Anna and I were together throughout the entire fertility process, and Anna, for all our struggles, has never given me reason to doubt her loyalty. Instead of confronting Anna, immediately I go to my home office and lock the door. Something inside me, the analytical mind that built my business, demands investigation before action. I begin with the fertility clinic records from 10 years ago. New Hope Fertility Center, now under different management. I find our file, reviewing every document. Dr. Gerald Hoffman was our reproductive endocrinologist. A name Michael had suggested, a personal connection who could pull strings to get us priority treatment. I dig deeper, searching for irregularities. 3 failed IVF attempts before the successful 4th try. Each time, Michael had been extraordinarily involved, even accompanying us to appointments when I had conflicting meetings. Just looking. Out for my best friend, he'd said. My investigation shifts to Michael. We've shared IT infrastructure at our firm for efficiency. I use my administrator access to view his cloud storage, expecting to find nothing. A password-protected folder labeled Personal Insurance catches my attention. It takes me 3 hours to crack it, but when I do, my world collapses entirely. Inside are communications with Dr. Hoffman spanning years, financial transactions, photos of them meeting outside the clinic. Most damning is a journal, meticulously detailing Michael's project legacy, as he called it. Michael is sterile. Childhood mumps left him unable to father children naturally. His journal chronicles his growing obsession with bloodline continuation, his jealousy of my perfect life with Anna, and his elaborate plan to substitute his sperm for mine during our final IVF procedure. I read until my eyes burn, cataloging every detail of the betrayal. Michael deliberately sabotaged our first 3 IVF attempts by bribing lab technicians. He cultivated Dr. Hoffman's gambling debts to gain leverage for the final substitution. I sit motionless as night falls. The man I considered a brother deliberately engineered the most intimate violation imaginable. My son, the center of my universe, carries Michael's DNA, not mine. Every milestone I celebrated, every trait I proudly attributed to my influence, Michael secretly claimed as his biological legacy. The rage that builds is not hot but ice cold, crystalline, clarifying. I will not be rash. I will not be emotional. I will be methodical. I find Dr. Hoffman's current address. He retired 5 years ago to Arizona. Before confronting Anna, before making any move, I need absolute confirmation from the source. I book a flight for the following day, telling Anna it's an emergency client meeting. As I pack a small overnight bag, I move with the precision Leo inherited, not from me but from the man who betrayed me in the most fundamental way possible. In the mirror, I see a man transformed, no longer just Ethan Hayes, proud father and successful businessman. Now I am a man with a singular purpose. Michael stole my biological legacy. I will systematically dismantle everything he values. I tuck the flash drive containing copies of all evidence into my pocket. In less than 24 hours, I'll have the final verification I need. Then the real work begins. Arizona's heat hits me like a physical force as I exit the airport. I rent a car and drive to Sun Valley Retirement Community where Dr. Hoffman now lives. The guard at the entrance barely glances at my visitor pass as I drive through. Hoffman's villa is modest but well-maintained. The door opens before I can knock, revealing a man aged beyond his 65 years, eyes haunted with recognition. I wondered when someone would come, he says simply, stepping aside to let me enter. Inside, the home is clinically neat, reminiscent of his former office. No photos of family, no personal touches. A man living in exile from his own past. You know why I'm here, I state, not bothering with pretense. Hoffman nods, gesturing toward a chair. The Hayes case. I've prepared for this conversation for 10 years. My control nearly slips. 10 years of silence while I raised another man's child believing he was mine. Not just another man, Hoffman says quietly. Your best friend. I place a recorder on the table between us. I want everything on record. What follows is a 2-hour confession that confirms my worst suspicions and reveals depths to the betrayal I hadn't imagined. Michael approached Hoffman a year before Anna and I began treatments, having researched the doctor's gambling debts. He had everything planned before you even decided to use IVF, Hoffman explains. The initial meeting where he recommended me was orchestrated. The clinic location, the timing, everything. And our failed attempts, I ask, though I already know the answer. Deliberate, all three. Mr. Kessler wanted you both emotionally exhausted, financially invested, and desperate enough not to question the final procedure too closely. My hands remain steady as I take notes. Why did you agree? Initially, blackmail, then money. More than enough to retire on. Hoffman looks away. What we did to you was unconscionable. We? I prompt. There was a nurse, she's dead now. Cancer. 2 years ago, and a lab technician who processed the samples. I don't know what happened to him. I press for details, collecting names, dates, every fragment of information. Hoffman rises at one point, unlocks a small safe behind a painting, and returns with a USB drive. I kept insurance, recordings of conversations, copies of payments, photographs. He places it beside my recorder. Mr. Kessler believes I destroyed everything when I retired. Why keep it? Because I knew this day would come. Hoffman's eyes meet mine. What we did was unforgivable. But perhaps this helps set something right. Nothing can set this right, I say coldly. Back in my hotel room, I review the contents of Hoffman's drive. The evidence is overwhelming. Voice recordings of Michael discussing the plan, photos of them meeting, financial transfers, medical records showing deliberate tampering with our first 3 IVF attempts. Most disturbing is a video from the day of our successful procedure. Michael, visiting the clinic ostensibly to support us, slipping into a back room with Hoffman, the exchange of containers, the clear labeling of the substitution. There's also evidence I hadn't anticipated. A recording of Michael and Hoffman at dinner a month before Leo's birth. Michael drunk, boasting about how he would influence his son through his role as godfather and uncle. How Ethan would never know, but he would guide the boy's development, see himself in every achievement. A legacy without responsibility. Michael slurs on the recording. The perfect arrangement. I spend the night analyzing everything, organizing evidence into categories. The planning, the execution, the cover-up. By morning, I have a complete understanding of the calculated betrayal carried out by the man I trusted most. On the flight home, I prepare for the conversation with Anna. The question remains, was she complicit, another victim, or somewhere in between? I find her in our garden, tending to the roses she's cultivated for years. We need to talk, I say, and something in my voice makes her set down her shears immediately. In our kitchen, I lay out the evidence methodically. Medical reports, timeline discrepancies, the DNA test results. Leo isn't biologically mine, I state, watching her reaction carefully. Her face drains of color. Genuine shock, not guilt. Her hands tremble as she reaches for the papers. That's not possible, she whispers. We used your sample. I was there. Not my sample, Michael's. She recoils as if slapped. What? No. I play one of Hoffman's recordings. Michael's voice fills our kitchen, clinical and calculated as he discusses the substitution. Anna's shock transforms to nausea. She barely makes it to the sink before retching. When she can speak again, her voice is hollow. The celebration dinner, before the final procedure. What about it? Michael insisted on taking us out, said it was for luck. He ordered champagne, expensive. I remember feeling strange afterward, not drunk, but disconnected. There are hours I can't recall clearly. Another piece falls into place. He drugged. You. Anna nods slowly. I've always had a sense that something happened that night. But with no evidence, just a feeling I couldn't explain, I convinced myself it was anxiety about the procedure. I show her another document. Hoffman kept samples. The lab found traces of a benzodiazepine variant. Long-term memory disruption. Tears streamed down her face. All these years I've felt something was wrong but couldn't place it. I started pulling away from Michael instinctively. I believe her. The timeline matches. Her gradual distancing from Michael, her discomfort when he was too familiar with Leo, her insistence that only I attend certain school functions when Michael volunteered. What do we do now? She asks finally. Nothing changes with Leo. He's our son in every way that matters. And Michael? I meet her eyes. Michael will lose everything. Not quickly. Systematically. Completely. I don't share my full plan. Anna doesn't need that burden, but watching her process the violation, her grief mirroring my own, solidifies my resolve. That night I begin the real work. I create a secure digital vault containing all evidence. I research every aspect of Michael's life, identifying vulnerabilities, pressure points. His reputation as a philanthropist, his recent engagement to Vanessa Reed, socialite daughter of a federal judge, his relationship with elderly parents who still don't know their only son is sterile. I contact Lawrence Porter, the most discreet and effective attorney in the state. I present my evidence without emotion. What do you want from this, Mr. Hayes? Porter asks when I finish. Justice, I reply simply. Complete and inescapable. Porter nods. We have multiple avenues. Criminal charges are possible but complicated by statutes of limitations. Civil action is clearer but public. Financial leverage through your shared business, interest offers more control. I want all options prepared, but nothing happens until I say. As I drive home, Michael calls. Our weekly dinner is tomorrow. For a decade, our families have maintained this tradition. Still on for tomorrow? He asks casually. Vanessa is bringing some wedding catalogs for Anna's opinion. Wouldn't miss it, I reply, my voice betraying nothing. I hang up and continue driving, my mind already mapping the systematic dismantling of Michael Kessler's entire existence. Before confronting Michael, I secure Leo's future. Lawrence Porter and I spend 3 days revising my will, establishing irrevocable trusts, and creating legal documents that will protect Leo regardless of biology. This establishes your intent to remain Leo's legal father regardless of genetic findings, Porter explains, sliding the paperwork across his mahogany desk. Should anything be contested later, this creates a nearly impenetrable barrier. Add the provision about educational funding, I direct, reviewing each page methodically, and the clause about decision-making authority. Porter nods. With these documents, your role as Leo's father is legally bulletproof. I sign where indicated, notarize everything, and file copies with multiple trusted sources. Leo's future secured, I can now focus on Michael without distraction or vulnerability. The weekly dinner with Michael and Vanessa proceeds with excruciating normality. I watch him interact with my family through new eyes. His casual arm around Leo's shoulders, his inside jokes with my son, the way he smoothly inserts himself into parenting discussions. Leo's science project is incredible, he tells Vanessa. That analytical thinking is so advanced for his age. He gets that from Ethan, Anna says, her voice steady but eyes flashing, toward me in silent communication. Michael smiles. Nature and nurture, right? Hard to separate sometimes. I maintain perfect composure throughout the evening, playing my role flawlessly. When they leave, Anna collapses onto the couch. How did you do that? She whispers. I could barely look at him. Practice, I reply simply. And motivation. The next morning, I begin mapping Michael's vulnerabilities systematically. Our shared business provides the most immediate leverage. As equal partners in Hayes and Kessler investments, we manage substantial assets, but the corporate structure contains weaknesses I can exploit. Michael has always handled client acquisition while I managed operations and compliance. This division created a blind spot. For years, I've maintained meticulous records of every transaction, every client interaction, every potential irregularity. Michael, more cavalier, has left a trail of questionable decisions. I compile evidence of his increasingly lavish personal expenditures, cross-referencing them with company accounts. Patterns emerge, small inconsistencies at first, growing bolder over time. Classic embezzlement progression. His reputation provides another pressure point. Michael's philanthropic image is carefully cultivated. He chairs multiple charity boards, hosts annual galas, and maintains connections with the city's elite. This social standing matters deeply to him and, by extension, to his fiancée. Vanessa Reed comes from old money with rigid expectations. Her father, Judge Harrison Reed, is notoriously protective and has already expressed reservations about Michael's background. A scandal would devastate both Michael's relationship and his carefully constructed social image. Most vulnerable is his relationship with his parents. Thomas and Eleanor Kessler, now in their 70s, have built their lives around family legacy. Their only son's continuation of the Kessler name has been their singular focus since his childhood. "The Kessler name will live on through my children," Michael once proclaimed at his father's retirement party. The statement takes on grotesque significance now. I contact Detective James Miller of the Financial Crimes Division. We've crossed paths professionally over the years, maintaining a respectful relationship. Our meeting takes place at a quiet restaurant outside the city. "This is unofficial," I clarify as we sit down. "For now." Miller nods. "Understood. What can I help with?" Hypothetically, if someone had evidence of persistent financial fraud but wasn't ready to file formal charges, what options might exist? Miller studies me carefully. Hypothetically, such evidence could be preliminarily reviewed to determine its strength. Building a case often takes time. Documentation could be prepared while decisions about formal proceedings are still pending. And if the evidence suggested crimes beyond financial misappropriation, then scope would expand accordingly. Miller leans forward. "Hypothetically, I've had suspicions about certain individuals in your industry for some time. Evidence from a credible source would be highly valuable. We establish a secure communication channel." Miller doesn't ask for names yet, but his knowing look suggests he's already connecting dots. I provide redacted documents showing patterns of financial misappropriation without identifying Michael directly. Miller confirms what I suspected. The evidence suggests systematic fraud extending beyond our company into the charitable foundations Michael manages. "Whoever this is," Miller says carefully, "they've been operating unchecked for years. Multiple jurisdictions would be interested." I return home and brief Anna on the legal protections now in place for Leo. She listens attentively, asking pointed questions about contingencies and scenarios I've already accounted for. "What if he tries to claim parental rights based on biology?" she asks. "The documentation establishes my role as Leo's legal and psychological father. Porter has prepared responses to any potential biological claim, citing abandonment of parental rights through deliberate concealment." Anna absorbs this. "And what about us, you and me?" The question catches me off guard. In my focused pursuit of Michael's destruction, I haven't fully addressed the impact on our marriage. "That depends on what you want," I say honestly. Anna takes my hand. "I want our family intact. I want Leo protected, and I want Michael to pay for what he did to all of us." "That's already in motion," I assure her. "No." Her grip tightens. "I want to help." Her determination surprises me. "How?" "Michael trusts me. 10 years of maintaining family friendships means he has no reason to suspect I know anything. I can access information you can't." I consider the possibilities. Anna's assistance would provide additional avenues but also involves risk. "Only if it's completely safe for you," I stipulate. We develop a careful strategy. Anna will maintain normal relations with Michael and Vanessa, gradually gathering information about their wedding plans, social connections, and especially the upcoming charity gala that serves as Michael's annual centerpiece. Meanwhile, I focus on the business angle. Our company's annual audit approaches, typically a formality I handle while Michael focuses on client relations. This year will be different. I contact the board members individually, expressing concerns about compliance discrepancies that require deeper examination. As the compliance officer, my recommendation carries weight. One by one, they agree to an expanded audit scope. "Is there something specific we should know about?" asks Bernard Winters, our senior board member. "Just due diligence," I reply. "Better to be thorough than sorry." I select Anderson Compliance Group, known for their forensic precision, to conduct the audit. Their reputation for uncovering financial irregularities is unmatched. "We'll need complete access," Margaret Anderson informs me during our initial meeting. "You'll have it," I assure her. "Every account, every transaction, every client file for the past 7 years. That's unusual scope for a routine audit. I believe in transparency." As Anderson's team begins their work, I contact an anonymous tip line for the IRS regarding Michael's personal finances. The information I provide is carefully curated, just enough to trigger interest without revealing my identity. Each move I make is calculated, methodical. Michael remains oblivious, his attention divided between wedding plans and the upcoming charity gala. The annual event, benefiting children's medical research, epitomizes the public image he's crafted. This year's gala is particularly significant, serving as a pre-wedding celebration and introduction of Vanessa to his philanthropic circle. At home, Leo continues his normal routine, unaware of the seismic shifts occurring around him. I attend his soccer games, help with homework, maintain the rituals that define our relationship. My love for him hasn't diminished. If anything, it's intensified with the knowledge of what was stolen from us. "Dad, can you help me with this math problem?" he asks one evening, frustrated with a particularly challenging equation. I sit beside him, guiding his thinking without providing answers. His approach mirrors mine exactly, step by logical step. "That's it," I encourage as he reaches the solution. "You got it." His smile of accomplishment reminds me why this careful vengeance matters. Not just for my sake, but for the relationship built on a decade of love that Michael attempted to hollow out from within. "Thanks, Dad," Leo says, completely unaware of the storm gathering around us. I ruffle his hair gently. "Always." The Anderson Compliance Group works with surgical precision. 3 weeks into their audit, Margaret Anderson requests a private meeting in my office. "We've found significant irregularities," she states, sliding a folder across my desk. "Systematic fund diversions, manipulated client accounts, and falsified charitable donations." I review the documents with practiced surprise. "How extensive?" "Approximately $4.7 million over 5 years. The pattern suggests a single responsible party with exclusive access to certain accounts." "Michael," I say, allowing a hint of betrayal to color my voice. Margaret nods. "The evidence points conclusively to Mr. Kessler. All questionable transactions originated from systems using his authentication credentials." "I need this documented comprehensively," I tell her. "Every transaction, every manipulation, every dollar." "We're already preparing the full report. It will be ready before your board meeting next week." I thank her and sit alone after she leaves, examining the preliminary findings. Michael's embezzlement is even more extensive than I anticipated. He's been systematically siphoning funds from our company, client accounts, and even the charitable foundation he chairs. The timing aligns perfectly. The board meeting is scheduled for the day before the annual charity gala. Michael, focused on the gala preparations and his upcoming wedding, has paid minimal attention to the audit, assuming it routine. Detective Miller's response to the complete financial evidence is immediate. He meets me in the same restaurant, outside the city, reviewing the Anderson report with professional focus. "This is extensive enough for criminal charges," he confirms. "Securities fraud, wire fraud, tax evasion, embezzlement, multiple federal violations." "What's the next step?" I ask. "Officially, You should present this to the board as fiduciary duty. Their response determines whether this becomes a civil or criminal matter. And unofficially? Miller closes the folder. Unofficially, I've already briefed the Financial Crimes Task Force. We're prepared to move when you give the word. But timing matters. If he suspects anything, evidence could disappear. He won't suspect, I assure him. Not until it's too late. The anonymous IRS tip has borne fruit as well. A discreet contact confirms that Michael's tax records are under review, with particular focus on offshore accounts I flagged in the Cayman Islands and Singapore. The noose tightens incrementally, each strand woven with precision. At home, Anna provides additional intelligence. During lunch with Vanessa, she learned that Judge Reed remains uncomfortable with Michael's background and has requested extensive prenuptial agreements. Vanessa mentioned her father hired private investigators to review Michael's finances, Anna tells me. She laughed it off as her father being overprotective, but she's clearly uncomfortable. Did she mention anything about the charitable foundation? Only that Michael's insisted on her taking a board position after the wedding. She seemed resistant. This information provides another leverage point. Vanessa values social standing, but her father's legal reputation is sacrosanct. A scandal involving financial impropriety would devastate both. The board meeting arrives. I've prepared meticulously, coordinating with Lawrence Porter on legal strategy and Margaret Anderson on presentation of findings. Michael enters the conference, room confident, distracted by gala details, completely unaware of what's coming. Before we begin standard business, I announce once everyone is seated, there's an urgent matter requiring immediate attention. Michael checks his watch impatiently as I introduce Margaret Anderson. Her presentation is devastating in its methodical detail. Bank records, transfer documentation, timestamp evidence. The systematic theft laid bare in irrefutable detail. I watch Michael's face as understanding dawns. First confusion, then disbelief, followed by the dawning horror of recognition. His eyes dart to me, searching for rescue that won't come. These are serious allegations, Bernard Winters says when Margaret finishes. Mr. Kessler, how do you respond? Michael attempts damage control. There must be some misunderstanding. I've never authorized these transactions. The authentication? Logs indicate otherwise, Margaret replies calmly. Every transaction originated from your credentials, often from your personal devices. Someone must have accessed my accounts, Michael insists, desperation entering his voice. Perhaps a hacking incident. The access patterns match your known locations over 5 years, Margaret counters, including transactions made from your vacation home in Aspen and your parents' residence during holidays. The board members exchange glances. Even without knowledge of Michael's personal betrayal, the evidence of his financial crimes is overwhelming. Given the circumstances, Bernard says gravely, I propose immediate suspension of Mr. Kessler's operational authorities, pending further investigation. I second the motion, another board member adds quickly. Wait, Michael interjects, panic. Rising. This is premature. Ethan and I need to discuss this privately first. I maintain perfect composure. As fiduciary officers of this company, we're obligated to address financial malfeasance immediately. The evidence speaks for itself. The vote is unanimous. Michael is suspended from all company operations. His access credentials are terminated immediately. Bernard proposes an emergency resolution authorizing me to secure company assets. Additionally, Lawrence Porter interjects smoothly, the board should consider requiring Mr. Kessler to surrender his ownership shares as security against client losses. Michael's face pales. You can't be serious. That's my life's work. It's our legal obligation to protect client assets, Porter responds. Given the extent of misappropriation, your shares represent the most immediate source of recovery. The board approves this measure as well. Within an hour, Michael's position in the company he helped build is completely severed. He sits shell-shocked as legal documents are placed before him. Sign these, Porter instructs, or we immediately refer this matter to federal authorities. Michael's hand trembles as he signs, surrendering his ownership stake in exchange for civil rather than criminal proceedings. He still doesn't understand that this is merely the first phase of his destruction. As the meeting concludes, Michael approaches me frantically. "Ethan, you can't believe I did this. We need to talk privately." "The evidence is conclusive," I reply coolly. "The board has made its decision. 20 years of friendship and you won't even hear my side?" The numbers speak for themselves. Michael grabs my arm as I turn to leave. "This will affect the foundation, the gala tomorrow night, everything I've built. You should have considered that before stealing from our clients." His desperation is palpable. "Ethan, please. For Leo's sake, if nothing else. He loves his Uncle Mike." The mention of my son's name nearly breaks my control. I pull my arm free. "Don't speak his name," I say quietly. "Ever again." Michael stares at me, confusion mingling with dawning fear. "What does Leo have to do with this?" "Nothing," I reply. "Absolutely nothing." I leave him standing alone in the conference room, stripped of his business authority, unaware that his financial empire is merely the first casualty in my systematic revenge. That evening, the news breaks across our social circle. Michael Kessler, philanthropist and financial advisor, has resigned from Hayes and Kessler Investments amid allegations of financial irregularities. The carefully worded press release mentions an internal audit and restructuring with client interests being rigorously protected. Michael calls repeatedly. I don't answer. Anna reports that Vanessa has contacted her, distraught and confused. "What did you tell her?" I ask. That I'm as shocked as she is. That the audit findings were unexpected and devastating. I nod approval. Perfect. Michael's financial foundation has crumbled in a single day. Tomorrow's gala will proceed, but with a host whose reputation is suddenly questioning. His wedding. Plans with Vanessa now face the scrutiny of Judge Reed, who will undoubtedly investigate these allegations thoroughly. The first phase of Michael's destruction is complete. He remains unaware that his role in Leo's conception is even known to me. This ignorance is crucial to the next phase, which will dismantle his personal life as thoroughly as I've dismantled his professional one. I sleep soundly that night, the first step of justice accomplished. Michael lies awake, frantically trying to understand how his world collapsed so suddenly, unaware that the true reckoning has barely begun. The morning after Michael's professional downfall, I receive a call from an unexpected source. Judge Harrison, Reed, Vanessa's father, requests a private meeting. "This isn't official," he clarifies. "Just two men with mutual concerns." We meet at his private club, a wood-paneled sanctuary of old money and discretion. The judge is meticulously groomed, every silver hair in place, eyes sharp with intelligence. "I understand your company has discovered financial irregularities involving Michael Kessler," he begins without preamble. "That's correct. Substantial evidence of systematic embezzlement." Reed nods. "My daughter is understandably distressed. The timing with their wedding approaching and the gala tonight is particularly unfortunate." I maintain a neutral expression. "The board had no choice once the evidence was presented." "Of course not." Reed studies me carefully. "Mr. Hayes, I've had concerns about Kessler for some time. My investigators found certain inconsistencies in his background, though nothing approaching what your audit uncovered. This is unexpected leverage. What kind of inconsistencies? Financial discrepancies, exaggerated credentials, and peculiar gaps in his personal history." Reed leans forward. "My concern now is protecting my daughter from public embarrassment, while determining the full extent of Kessler's deceptions. I see an opportunity. I have information your investigators might have missed. Information that goes beyond financial impropriety." Reed's eyebrows raise slightly. "I'm listening." "Not here," I reply, "but I'll provide it before the gala tonight, for Vanessa's sake." The judge considers this. "My daughter values honesty above all else, Mr. Hayes. If Kessler has been dishonest in ways beyond what we currently know, she deserves that information before making a permanent commitment." She'll have it, I promise. Back at my office, I prepare a carefully curated file. It contains select evidence of Michael's genetic deception, excluding any details that might expose Leo to unwanted attention. The fertility clinic records, Hoffman's testimony, financial payments to medical staff, everything establishing Michael's deliberate, calculated betrayal of my family, without explicitly mentioning Leo as the child in question. A courier delivers the sealed envelope to Judge Reed's chambers. By early afternoon, Vanessa calls Anna in tears. She's canceled all wedding preparations, Anna reports after the call. She confronted Michael with the evidence her father showed her. He denied everything, claimed it was all fabricated by me out of business jealousy. How did she respond? She told him she needed time to think. She's still planning to attend the gala tonight for appearance's sake, but she's removed her engagement ring. Perfect. Michael's personal life is beginning to unravel exactly as planned. With his financial standing destroyed and his engagement threatened, he'll be desperate to maintain his philanthropic image at tonight's gala. I turn my attention to the final elements of preparation. Detective Miller confirms that federal authorities are prepared to move based on the evidence I've provided, but are waiting for my signal. The timing is yours to determine, Miller says. Though I should note that allowing him to proceed with a charitable event while under investigation raises additional legal concerns. One more night, I tell him. That's all I need. At home, I find Leo unusually subdued. He's seen the news reports about Michael's resignation, heard fragments of conversation between Anna and me. Dad, is something wrong with Uncle Mike? He asks as I help him with homework. I choose my words carefully. Uncle Mike made some bad decisions at work. People trusted him with money, and he broke that trust. Leo absorbs this. Is that why he called me today? He sounded weird. My blood runs cold. Michael called you? When? After school, on my cell phone. He said he needed to talk to me about something important, something about you and him. Control nearly slips through my fingers. What else did he say? That sometimes families have secrets, that he and I have a special connection I don't know about yet. Leo looks troubled. He wanted me to meet him before the gala tonight. I told him I needed to ask you first. Rage threatens to overwhelm my carefully constructed plans. Michael, cornered and desperate, is attempting to use Leo as leverage, the ultimate violation, trying to turn my son against me by revealing biological truths a 10-year-old cannot possibly process properly. I sit beside Leo, placing a hand on his shoulder. Leo, Uncle Mike is going through a difficult time and saying things that aren't appropriate. I need you to promise not to meet him alone or take his calls for now. Is he in trouble? Yes, I answer honestly. Serious trouble. And part of that trouble involves trying to hurt our family. Leo's eyes widen. Why would he want to hurt us? Sometimes when people feel like they're losing everything, they try to hurt others to feel better. It doesn't make sense, but it happens. Leo considers this with surprising maturity. Like when Parker broke Tommy's science project last year after Tommy beat him in the math competition. Something like that, but much more serious. I meet his eyes directly. I need you to trust me right now. Can you do that? Of course, Dad. His unconditional response nearly breaks me. I promise I'll explain everything when the time is right. For now, I need you to stay with Grandma tonight while Mom and I attend the gala. Leo agrees, and I immediately call my mother to arrange the evening. She's always been fiercely protective of Leo and will ensure Michael has no access to him. Anna and I prepare for the gala with grim determination. She wears deep blue, elegant and understated. I select my most impeccable suit, the armor I'll wear for Michael's final downfall. Are you ready for this? Anna asks as our car approaches the hotel. I've been ready since Arizona, I reply. The Grand Meridian Hotel ballroom has been transformed for the Children's Medical Research Foundation Gala. Crystal chandeliers, white roses, and the foundation's blue ribbon logo displayed prominently. Nearly 400 of the city's elite in attendance, including Michael's elderly parents seated at the front table. Michael himself stands at the entrance, greeting guests with Vanessa robotically at his side. The strain between them is visible in their rigid postures, the careful distance maintained. Vanessa's left hand conspicuously bare of her engagement ring. Michael flinches visibly when he sees us. "Ethan, Anna, I didn't expect you tonight." "We've supported the foundation for years," I reply smoothly. "Tonight shouldn't be any different." Vanessa meets Anna's eyes with silent communication before excusing herself to greet other guests. Michael grabs my arm as I move to follow Anna inside. "We need to talk," he hisses urgently. "This has gone too far. I know what you sent to Judge Reed." I remove his hand from my arm. "Then you know this is just the beginning." Fear flashes across his face. "Why are you doing this? It was just business." "Was it?" I hold his gaze steadily. "We both know this isn't about money, Michael." Uncertainty mingles with his panic. He's still not sure exactly how much I know, clinging to the possibility that this is solely about financial misconduct. "Whatever you think I've done, destroying everything I've built is disproportionate," he protests. "Proportionate response is coming," I assure him. "The gala's about to begin. You should take your place at the podium." I leave him standing there, moving to my table near the front. Anna is already seated, along with Judge Reed and his wife. Vanessa has been placed at a different table, a clear statement of her separation from Michael. The gala begins with standard formalities: the foundation director's introduction, the video presentation of children helped by last year's fundraising. Through it all, Michael fidgets at the head table, eyes darting between me, Vanessa, and Judge Reed. When he finally approaches the podium for his speech, he appears to have regained some composure. Always the performer, Michael adjusts the microphone and smiles at the audience. "Distinguished guests, loyal supporters, welcome to our 10th annual gala," he begins smoothly. "Tonight we celebrate not just the foundation's work, but the values that unite us all: family, integrity, legacy." I meet Anna's eyes. The trap is set. Michael continues his speech, unaware that each word about legacy and family integrity tightens the noose around his neck. "Above all," Michael concludes with practiced sincerity, "we must protect the children who represent our future, our immortality, our truest legacy." As applause begins, I rise from my seat. It's time for Michael Kessler's world to end completely. I cross the ballroom with measured steps, aware of every eye turning toward me. Michael watches from the podium, confusion evident as I approach. The room quiets, sensing the disruption to the carefully orchestrated evening. "Ethan," Michael says into the microphone, attempting to maintain control. "Did you want to add something about the foundation's work?" I reach the stage and stand beside him, close enough to see sweat beading at his temples. "Actually, I'd like to address your comments about legacy and integrity," I say, my voice carrying through the silent ballroom. Michael forces a laugh. "Perhaps after the fundraising portion, old friend." I ignore him, turning to face the audience directly. "For 10 years I've supported this foundation because I believed in its mission and its leadership. Tonight, that changes." Michael attempts to guide me away from the microphone, but I stand firm. "Many of you have heard about the financial irregularities discovered at our firm," I continue. "What you don't know is that Michael Kessler's betrayal extends far beyond embezzlement." The room is absolutely still. Michael's parents lean forward, in their seats. Judge Reed sits with arms crossed, watching intently. "Michael," I say, turning to him, "would you like to tell everyone what you did 10 years ago at New Hope Fertility Clinic, or shall I?" His face drains of color. This isn't the appropriate forum for personal matters. "I disagree. You just spoke about legacy being our immortality. You should explain how you attempted to steal mine." A technician approaches with a tablet I arranged to have ready. I take it and connect it to the projection system, replacing the foundation logo with the documents I've prepared. 10 years ago, my wife and I underwent fertility treatments. I begin, my voice steady. "Michael, our trusted friend, recommended the doctor. He arranged everything, supported us through 3 failed attempts." The first document appears on screen, medical records with key sections highlighted. What we didn't know was that Michael deliberately sabotaged those attempts. He bribed medical staff. He ensured our pain continued, making us more desperate, less vigilant. Michael grabs for the tablet. This is slander. These documents are fake. I calmly move it beyond his reach. They're authenticated by Dr. Gerald Hoffman, who provided sworn testimony. The screen changes to Hoffman's notarized statement. Several gasps echo through the ballroom. On our fourth attempt, Michael implemented his real plan. He paid Dr. Hoffman to substitute his genetic material for mine, without our knowledge or consent. Michael's mother clutches her chest. His father stands abruptly. He did this not out of any desire to raise a child, but to secretly plant his genetic legacy in my family while I did the work of raising it. I advance to the next slide. Laboratory, documentation, and payment records. A legacy without responsibility, as he called it. Michael lunges for the microphone. These are lies manipulated by Ethan out of business jealousy. I would never do such a thing. The screen changes again, this time to a video recording. Dr. Hoffman appears, aged and remorseful. I confirm under oath that Michael Kessler paid me to substitute his sperm sample for Ethan Hayes's during fertility procedures performed on Anna Hayes. This substitution was done without the knowledge or consent of either Ethan or Anna Hayes. The video continues with Hoffman detailing the payments, the methodology, Michael's instructions. Throughout the ballroom, expressions shift from shock to disgust. "Turn it off," Michael demands, his voice cracking. "This is a violation of medical privacy. Like secretly implanting your DNA into my family was a violation," I counter, advancing to financial records showing Michael's payments to Hoffman. "You didn't just steal money from our clients, Michael. You stole my biological connection to my child." Vanessa stands abruptly, moving toward the exit. Judge Reed follows, placing a protective arm around his daughter. "Why?" Michael's father calls out, his elderly voice breaking the silence. "Michael, why would you do this?" Michael turns to his parents, desperation evident. "I didn't. This is fabricated evidence." I advance to the final document. Michael's childhood medical records. Michael became sterile at age 14 due to complications from mumps. He's known his entire adult life that he couldn't father children naturally. His mother gasps audibly. His father slumps back into his chair. "You never told us," his father says quietly. "Because you always talked about grandchildren," Michael responds, his careful facade crumbling. "About continuing the Kessler name. I couldn't bear to disappoint you." The admission hangs in the air, damning in its implication. So instead, I continue relentlessly. "You stole my child's biological connection to me. You watched me raise your biological child while believing he was mine. You insinuated yourself into his life as Uncle Mike. You celebrated milestones and took credit in private." From the back of the ballroom, the doors open. Detective Miller enters with 2 uniformed officers. "What you've done, Michael, isn't just a personal betrayal. It's a crime. Fraud. Tampering with medical procedures. Financial misconduct on multiple levels." Miller approaches the stage methodically. Michael looks frantically for exits, for sympathy, finding neither. "Ethan, please," he says quietly. "We can resolve this privately." "Like you tried to resolve it by calling my son yesterday? By trying to reveal this to a 10-year-old child to hurt me?" Murmurs ripple through the crowd. Miller reaches the stage, nodding to me before turning to Michael. "Michael Kessler, you're under arrest for securities fraud, wire fraud, and multiple violations of federal financial regulations." Miller recites the Miranda rights as the officers handcuff Michael. Michael stares at me with naked hatred as they lead him from the stage. "He's still my blood, not yours," he hisses. "That can never change." I lean in close, ensuring only he can hear my response. "And you'll watch him grow up in my home while you rot in prison. That's your legacy now." 6 months later, I sit with Leo on a bench outside the courthouse. Michael's sentencing has concluded. 12 years for the financial crimes alone, with additional penalties for medical fraud. Dad, do you think I should visit him again? Leo asks, his young face serious beyond his years. After Michael's arrest, we had explained the situation to Leo in age-appropriate terms. The biological truth, the betrayal, the choice that still belonged to Leo about his relationship with Michael. That's entirely your decision, I tell him honestly. Whatever you choose, I'll support you. Leo considers this carefully. I don't think I want to. He's not family. Not really. Blood doesn't make family, I agree. Love and trust do. And he betrayed both, Leo concludes with the simple clarity of children. 2 weeks later, Leo wins the state science competition with his project on genetic markers and hereditary traits, a subject he chose himself in his process of understanding. As we celebrate at home, Anna shows us the evening news. Michael watching the competition results announced from the prison common room, his expression hollow as he witnesses Leo's achievement from the outside. The press has dubbed the case the legacy theft, focusing on the financial crimes while treating the fertility fraud as a sensational sidebar. Michael's parents have moved away, unable to face the social fallout. Vanessa has married someone else. The foundation has been restructured under new leadership, and Leo continues to flourish, secure in the knowledge that family is defined by love, not genetics. He still has my mannerisms, my approach to problem solving, my sense of humor. Nature provided his DNA, but nurture shaped the person he's becoming. I watch him arrange his trophies precisely, the methodical attention to detail that we share regardless of biology. The sight fills me with a satisfaction deeper than the cold pleasure of revenge. Michael thought he was stealing my legacy by substituting his DNA, never understanding that legacy transcends genetics. He will spend the next decade watching from prison as I continue to shape the child he thought he could claim through biological trickery, watching as Leo chooses me as his father in all the ways that truly matter, watching as the biological connection he valued above all else becomes meaningless compared to the bond forged through years of genuine fatherhood. That is the true completion of my revenge, not just Michael's destruction, but my continued flourishing, with the child he tried to steal. He sacrificed everything for a biological legacy he will never truly possess, while I keep the only legacy that ever mattered, the daily privilege of being Leo's father. Michael stole my biology. I destroyed his entire existence. And with every passing day, the debt tilts further in my favor, interest compounding on his loss as Leo and I build a future that Michael can only observe from the periphery of our lives, forgotten and irrelevant to the legacy he so desperately tried to claim.